Hello, everyone. We're Carlos and Sharon from Red Hat, and today we're going to show you how to deploy an MCP server from the MCP catalog and then use it in a multi-agent application that will diagnose and resolve support cases across different partner ecosystems. It will be only 5 minutes, all live. Let's go. What are we going to address in this demo? We're going to facilitate a support resolution across different partners within the same ecosystem. We created a simple yet powerful open source multi-agentic system that is designed to allow agentic workflows to diagnose and resolve problems. We're leveraging the Azure MCP server and Red Hat AI secure MCP catalog within this solution. We have different layers. The first one is the user access layer, which is a butterfly web application that allows us to interact with a chat interface with the different routing and support agents. The first part is the orchestration and security layer, which will be handling all the authentication, authorization, and audit. Then we have the routing agent, which is in charge of routing the requests from the users to the specific agent that is helping you on troubleshooting your issues. In this particular case, we have A2A as the communication layer, and we used ADK to develop all the agents we have in this demo. So let's start with the MCP catalog. The OpenShift AI MCP catalog gives you pre-built MCP servers that you can browse, pick, and deploy to your cluster. In this case, we will be deploying the Azure MCP server to our Red Hat OpenShift cluster. You just have to pick the deployment name, the project, and set up all the configurations details to connect to your Azure tenant. The catalog will handle the container image, the configuration, and all the authentication through managed identity. In this case, we will not be writing any glue code. We won't be building any custom integration. We will just deploy from the catalog the MCP server, and we will consume that as a regular workload. Once you configure all the details, you have to click on deploy the Azure MCP server, and you just need to wait until the operator runs the deployment, and you have it up and running for you to use. Now, we will log in into our quick start. I will use a user with enough access to our auto support agent to show how it works. In this case, you can see that I have access to 3 out of 4 agents, including the auto support agent, and we can start asking questions out of the box. In this case, I'm asking about the well-architected framework for AKS. The routing agent, it's detecting the intent of our request, and it's delegating the execution to the auto support agent, which is grabbing the Azure MCP server. And we can see the output and all the MCP tools that were executed. Usually, the first one, it's about the intent of our request. And the second one, it's the actual execution of the MCP tool giving the correct answer. We can ask for other things, like, for example, best practices for developing Azure web applications. In the same way, the routing agent, it's detecting the intent, it's doing the routing of the request, and then we have the specific MCP tools being executed. In this case, we can see that the output, it's a markdown file with all these best practices we were asking about. We can see that the routing agent delegated the execution to the auto support agent. We see the output, and then at the end, we see the MCP tools that were called. Again, the first one about the intent, and second one with the actual output we're seeing in the chat window. We can also see the audit log of the applications because we stored all the events using OpenTelemetry. And we have the audit trail with all the security events stored. And we can see, for example, all the users have access to specific groups, and we can see if the requests were accepted or denied. Now, we'll test again the quick start, but using a user without access to any of the agents. We're logging in as Josh. You can see here that Josh doesn't have access to any of the agents, and when we ask a question, the routing agent will deny this request. In the same way, we can see this event in the audit log, or we can see the traces in the audit trail. In this case, you can see that Josh doesn't belong to any department, so any of the agents will be able to answer his requests. And this is all. Thank you.